my job, man. This is how I put food on the table. Leave me alone. All I wanted to do was, like, I was lonely. I wanted to just stream and have a good time, maybe have a good game.
The story of Jordie Jordan, known to many as Wings of Redemption, is one that has divided the opinion of many. Whilst the world knows Jordie for his first-person shooter gameplay, it is also his controversial opinions that has garnered an audience beyond expectation.
It is. If my kids grow up to be gay, I'm beating the shit out of them.
That'll be straight. Yeah, that'll be straight. Trust me.
No, look here. There's two choices in life. You pretend you're straight, or I'll beat you to death.
After being laid off from work, in October 2009, Jordie's YouTube journey would begin as he would begin posting videos of his Call of Duty gameplay to his channel.
During the 2008 housing market crash, they started laying people off, and one of the people that got laid off was me because I was one of the newer employees, and I was also getting paid more than most of the employees on the flag factory floor.
Being out of work enabled Jordie to dedicate his time uploading videos on YouTube and commit to pursuing a career in gaming. Whilst this was an exciting prospect for Jordie, it is difficult to say whether it was a wise decision looking back now. From the very beginning, Jordie's content was heavily criticised. Many felt he spent large portions of his games camping, which is when a player remains in one spot in an attempt to catch out the more aggressive players who are traversing the map. This style of play is widely frowned upon by many, and despite constant criticism, much to the viewer's frustration, Jordie would wear his camping badge proudly.
Some people think I'm a camper, which I am a camper.
Whilst we are all entitled to play in a way that we see fit, it would not prevent his viewers from casting their judgments. However, it was not just his style of play that would create division amongst his viewers. Jordie's openness about his opinions would only cause more controversy given the outlandish nature of some of his views.
Racists do not bother me. A racist generally is a person that is upfront with their beliefs. That's why racism doesn't bother me. If somebody's a racist, at least I know where they stand.
With outdated opinions like these, Jordie's image began to chip away. Despite Jordie feeling as though his honesty should not be penalised and that we should be able to be open about our views, it would not prevent the tirade of abuse he would go on to face. Whilst Jordie was coming under great scrutiny for his style of play and his, at times, wild takes, Jordie's popularity would continue to grow, amassing an incredible 350,000 subscribers by the end of 2011. However, despite already having mass division within his own community, Jordie would only exacerbate this by creating further conflicts with other content creators.
And I've seen how terrible of a person he could be. I'm dead serious. Like, if somebody deserved to die on this planet, Daniel King would be one of them. That's dead serious.
This would only elevate the number of viewers that were eagerly awaiting his downfall. On the surface, it would seem as though Jordie was immune to the public criticism often coming off dismissive when viewers had opinions that opposed his own. However, as time would wear on, Jordie's resilience would begin to diminish.
I am complaining about the clips they make, but I'm more complaining that they create a community that only think of me as a bad person, which that's not who I am.
As he continued to gain subscribers and gain further recognition, he would start to be noticed by other creators, most notably Woody's Gamertag. The two would create a podcast called Painkiller Already, where Jordie would now have a platform to push his questionable opinions, further raising the hatred towards him. Whilst Jordie seemed unfazed by the criticism, it would be in 2011 when a renowned Call of Duty Zombies player, Pro Syndicate, would make a guest appearance on the podcast, which would ultimately lead to a culmination of events that would have Jordie reaching the lowest point in his career thus far. During the podcast, Jordie would give off an air of arrogance, stating that he felt Pro Syndicate would be no match for him, as being a specialist in zombies gameplay meant very little in the multiplayer game modes.
Dude, you would get destroyed in World at War. I've beaten almost every commentator that was willing to 1v1 me in World at War. But I know I'm not going to lose to you.
Following a back and forth with Jordie, continuing to downplay the guest on his podcast, the two would eventually come to an arrangement where they would match up in a 1v1, with the person that had the most kills after 10 minutes being crowned the victor. This 1v1 was to be streamed live and would subsequently garner over 7,000 viewers. At this point, the pressure was on, and after the overconfidence Jordie had displayed, it felt impossible Jordie could lose. As the match progressed and the viewers watched on, Pro Syndicate would begin to pull ahead. Unable to comprehend this and the realisation he was about to lose, Jordie, in a rage, would destroy his controller.
I knew that was a tough lobby to do well in, but I was there. Wings, are you in the game? Wings, did you spawn in?
I broke my controller.
You broke your controller?
The game would ultimately end with Pro Syndicate winning 14 kills to 9, and with Jordie being left furious that their match was streamed live.
Why the f*** you stream that shit?
With the pressure on him, Jordie would only make matters worse as he'd reach out to Pro Syndicate and try to bribe him into deliberately losing a rematch in an attempt to restore his reputation. Unimpressed by this, Syndicate would leak the conversation on social media, further damaging Jordie's image. With his reputation destroyed, Jordie's video views began to deteriorate. Unhappy with this, Jordie felt it necessary to take to Twitter to complain. However, alongside his complaints with his loss of viewership, he would also state that it was having a negative impact on his health and that he was on the cusp of suicide. Whilst it is difficult to determine whether Jordie truly felt this way or whether it was a ploy to re-engage his viewers, it would not be long before other YouTubers chimed in, stating that Jordie was creating suicidal tendencies just to get views and questioned Jordie's integrity.
And you're sitting there trying to destroy my livelihood by some bulls trying to say I did some view.
Suicide. Do you not understand the gravity of the situation? You faked the suicide for views. Your raw instinct. Fucking G-Unit, Wings.
Jordie's reputation and image had plummeted, and whilst he was still able to retain some of his viewership, many of his viewers were simply there just to antagonise and troll him. Jordie would continue to post videos of how he was under immense pressure and his health was deteriorating because of the controversy surrounding him.
There's been so much stress with sub box breaking, the view count thing, the losing the 1v1, all the haters, all the loss of subs. I've actually gained 20 pounds because all I've been doing is worrying and eating.
Whilst Jordie was likely creating these videos to garner sympathy, it would not be enough to divert the attention of those looking to exacerbate Jordie's struggles. With Jordie seemingly in a downward spiral and facing struggles with his physical and mental health, in 2013 fellow co-host FPS Kyle would go out of his way to help Jordie to get his life back on track, creating a month-long bootcamp to help Jordie lose weight. In this bootcamp, Kyle would assist with meal preps, workout routines, and even go as far as to rebuild his shower to accommodate Jordie's physique.
You put in a new shower for him.
Yeah.
Right? You redid your damn house for him.
Yeah.
In total, Jordie would lose around 40 pounds, and whilst this appeared to be a real turning point in Jordie's life, upon returning home, the same bad habits would also return with him, resulting in Jordie's weight rising once again. Later on that same year, Jordie would be invited on a survival trip with Kyle and Woody's gamertag, where they would go to a secluded part of the wilderness with only the bare necessities and see how long that they could survive. Initially, Jordie seemed eager to partake in this, even going as far as to upload videos on his channel showcasing his survival skills. However, on the day of the trip, Kyle would drive 3 hours to the location they would be staying and called up Jordie to see if he was on his way. At the very last minute, Jordie said he was actually not going to come.
Call him up. Hey man, get ready to do this thing. I'm driving in now, about 3 hours from the place. What are you up to? He's like, I'm not going.
With no notice being given and a complete disregard for his friends, Jordie's actions would ultimately have him removed from the podcast permanently. After being booted from PKA, Jordie would desperately attempt to find success on YouTube by himself, trying anything to recapture his old fame. He would begin to post content outside of his niche, uploading videos of any old topic with the hope of finding something that may propel him back to the top. Predictably, this was unsuccessful, and with Jordie unable to recapture the attention as an individual, he would instead link up with other content creators and begin co-hosting on another podcast. However, lack of direction on the podcast ultimately resulted in the podcast ending after 89 episodes, and once again, Jordie was left to try and re-engage his audience individually. With the lack of success on YouTube individually, Jordie would turn to Twitch. He felt it would require less effort as he would no longer need to spend time editing his videos. However, this misguided decision would be the true collapse of Jordie. With his intrusive thoughts and actions live on display for the world to see, unfiltered, without the ability to edit and alter the way he was perceived, Jordie had provided the ammunition that would ultimately be used to break him. Every mistake, every misstep, every view would now be used to target him. And in 2017, Jordie would hit his lowest low, having a complete breakdown live on stream when a stream sniper would infiltrate his game and begin berating him on the mic, shooting and throwing smoke grenades at him.
I don't know when I'll stream again. I really need to make this fucking money. I really wanted to get this fucking surgery, man. I've wanted it so fucking bad. I just can't do it. I can't take this no more, man.
Whilst his viewers attempted to offer their advice on how to get rid of the stream sniper, this would only enrage Jordie further.
Look here! Look, listen! Appearing offline does not fucking stop it, so stop giving advice you know nothing about.
Following this disastrous stream, the viewers would pounce on every mistake, magnifying his flaws and turning personal struggles into public spectacles. The waves of abuse were unrelenting and would only further exacerbate his mental downfall. As years passed on, the level of trolling would persist, so much so that Jordie felt he had to privatise his YouTube videos to prevent trolls from utilising the footage to create further videos mocking him. And whilst it would combat future videos from being uploaded, Jordie would still be subject to the numerous videos that were already circulating the internet. So where is Jordie now? Whilst enduring the adversity over the years, Jordie has continued to actively livestream on YouTube and attempt to bypass the toxicity he has faced. After being banned from the Twitch partnership program, Jordie appears to have found solace in YouTube live streaming. Although he may still be subject to some criticism, it would appear the mockery has begun to dwindle, with streaming activity seeming to be far more positive and generic than it once was. Whilst Jordie is renowned for being quick to ban those that oppose his views from his chat and therefore may have weeded all of the negativity out manually, it is fairly likely the hype around Jordie's rage has worn off, and now it's mostly his loyal followers that remain. Alongside his streaming, Jordie most notably took part in a boxing match against Boogie2988 in May 2023, which he went on to win, earning a reported $10,000 for his appearance. However, Jordie still to this day has his YouTube videos privatised, with only a few short clips and live streams viewable on his channel. Whilst Jordie created a rod for his own back with his controversial behaviours and opinions, it begs the question, was the unrelenting ridicule he received over the years comparable to his actions? The toll of such ceaseless torment was profound, affecting not just his online presence, but his well-being and mental health. It is without question that Jordie's actions are inexcusable and his opinions at times were dire. However, what is your view? Were the levels of trolling justified, or was it excessive?